Hello and welcome to a quick update on my last tutorial. This is a system that I could not get it work at the time of the last tutorial, but thanks to the amazing people at Reddit that told me it is possible, I managed to get it working. It was all because of one little tick box that needed to be ticked that I did not know existed. I'll show you exactly what tick box it is so you can make this work for yourself. But this time, the difference that this tutorial has to the last one, you still need to kind of watch the last one if you want me to go in depth with it. This time I'm just going to brush over some of the stuff so that it's quicker, because let's be honest, we don't want a half an hour long tutorial again. So the difference this time is that we're going to be using an instance foliage static mesh, and that is so much quicker. I even ramped up the amount of static meshes in my level to 30,000. I'm sure you can go even higher than that, and the frame rate was even higher than last time. Before we jump into it, one misconception that people had in Reddit and were asking me, why am I even bothering with this system? Why do I not just use the foliage spawner to spawn an actor, the actor I want to begin with? Well, the problem with that is that you can't have 30,000 actors in your level and expect good performance. Especially, I mean, even if you do, you will have to make a lot of sacrifices in your tree blueprint. You can make it cuttable and everything. You can't touch tick. You probably have to disable tick because you can't have 30,000 actors ticking in your level at all times. You can't add particle stuff. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. This system, the good thing it has is that you don't have to make any sacrifices in your blueprint. You can make it as busy or as big as you want. You can add as many particles as you want, because no matter how many of these trees you have in your level, only 5 or 6 of them are being ticked or enabled as blueprints at one time. So if I just show you on my level, this time I have 30,000 of this. The frame rate isn't that great right now because these are all still actors, but as soon as I press play and they get replaced by the instance foliage, there we go. Now it just shoots back up, and if I just turn on the FPS, you can see I'm in the 60s. Last time I was around 40 with 16,000 of these, but there's 32,000 of them right now, and they're all interactable. So as I get close to them, never forget to enable your systems before starting to record. So frame rate is great, and I just turned my blueprint version of the tree to yellow so that you can see them as they turn into blueprint and turn back into a static mesh. No problem at all. All of them are interactable. My camera jitters a bit, but that's just because of my camera manager. I'm going to show you how to do this version of this time. A lot of the stuff at the start are the same. You still have to make a different channel for your collision. You still have to have a placeholder for them. Let's jump right into it. So the first thing you need to do is to make a different blueprint at the start of this. So in your folder, right click and then go to blueprint class and then add yourself a new foliage instance. If I could type it. Yeah, one of these. If you click on that and just make a child class of that, and you can name it whatever you want it to be. So after you created your instance foliage class, just name it something nice. So we can call it instance foliage. I have one already called BP foliage instance static mesh. This is the same as up here in component class when you make yourself a static mesh foliage type. It's the same kind of class. Anyway, back into it. You need to add this over there. And then after you do that, the rest of it is kind of similar. So the first thing we need to do, just like before, is to collect those spawn points. This time what I've done is that I've kind of combined the collection and spawning in one place. And I've also ditched the map. I'm probably going to add it for my own game in the future. One big benefit though that it gives you is that you can add new trees. So for example, if you have a game just like mine that has trees that are cuttable, there's going to be a point that the player is going to run out of trees. So you need to give it new trees. You can do that by the map. So you can just add a new entry to that. But anyway, this is a mapless version of it, which is quicker. So the first thing you need to do, just like before, is to get all actors of class for our spawn points. Then you go into a for loop, and this is the bit that is different. You're going to grab your foliage, and then you're going to use add instance and then world space version of that. So if you grab out of this, if you just type in add instance, there's a version with world space and there's a normal version, so we need the world space version. And then out of this you get the actor transform to tell it where to go. Now when it adds these instances, most of you probably already know, they all have indexes. So there's like if you have 30,000 of them in your level, they all have indexes from 0 to 30,000. One thing, now I'm going to go over that one tick. The issue that I had was that these instances would be, collision wise, would be recognized as one huge thing. So whenever I would hit 3 of them in a row, it would just hit once, it would just overlap once. So there's one thing you need to do, is to click on it, go down here, and then you go to collision. First of all, don't forget to set it to custom, and then you set it to object type to interactable foliage, just like last time. But then you need to click this little arrow, show advanced, and then you need to tick multi-body overlap. That was unticked for me by default. This means that each instance will have its own collision, which is what we want. So just tick that and this should work. And also don't forget to set a static mesh for your tree. After you do that, of course, we're gonna destroy it, and I have a counter for myself just to see how many I just spawned. This first bit of it is just gonna do the job of getting rid of those spawn points and just putting an instance foliage, which your frame rate will just jump high up as soon as that happens. Now, just like last time, we need to have a function that swaps the instance meshes, instance foliages, with an actor. So inside this, as you can see, last time we were using location to differentiate between this tree and that tree. This time we're just using the index. And this has an index input. We get instance transform, which is just a node out of this, which obviously gives you the transform for that index. Just feed that into there, and then we spawn our actor on that transform, and then we remove the instance that was supposed to be there. So basically we swap out the instance foliage with a blueprint one. Now, how do we do the collisions? Well, again, like last time, it's in our player character, but there's one difference. All of them belong to BP_tree manager, so we're gonna cast there. But this is the bit, you need to come out of sweep result and you need to break it. And then after you break it, the hit item will give you the exact index for the tree that you hit. And then after that you cast, you get the function, and then you feed the index onto there. And then on this side, it's just gonna work. Now, after we've swapped it, we also need to swap it back. So this part is very similar to the last time. All we're going to do is to get the transform of where that tree was, and then just add an instance again. Just need to feed this into it, and that is it on this side. On your tree master, again, there's really nothing different. Again, I check if it was the player character that finished overlapping, and then I basically use my reference to then swap the actor for an instance foliage. And basically, now when I press play, all of these actors will be swapped out for an instance foliage, and then as soon as you're close enough to them, as soon as you basically overlap with them, then they will do this lovely thing. One more thing that can really, since we talk about frame rate, that will help your frame rate, is to make sure you have LODs for these static meshes, especially billboards. And one other thing that I realized today was that Unreal from 4.11 added a LOD transition thing. I can show you how that looks. So you've probably seen it a lot, especially in Cyberpunk, where objects don't really pop into place, but they fade into place, which, you know, if it's done well, it's a really good effect. So I'm looking at 30,000 trees. First of all, no dip in the frame rate, it's lovely. But you can see these billboards, right? Obviously my player would never be able to get this high up. If I get close enough, you can see how they fade into the tree instead of just popping. And the only trick to this is to go to the material that tree uses. So if I quickly open my tree, and you need to do this for all the materials. For example, my bark, you just need to go down on the left side, and then you need to tick did LOD transition, and that will do what you need it to do. Especially, don't forget to do this for the billboard. One thing to keep in mind is that this has a performance cost. I don't know exactly how much, but I don't imagine it'll be too much. And I've been using opacity mask anyway for these trees because they fade away when they get close enough to the camera. So thank you for watching this update, this follow-up on this system. Again, I'm sure this system can be optimized even further and done in different ways that are even better than the one that I could figure out. I'm by no means a professional developer on Unreal, just intermediate I would call myself. But thank you for watching. If you want to follow my game, SunnySide, you can subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be uploading more tutorials. I'm going to be uploading a tutorial on wind sound and how you can procedurally have a wind sound that changes with intensity. That will come sometime in the next few days. And yeah, you can join the Discord server in the description. I post daily on there about my game and Unreal finds. There's a Game Jolt page over there as well, all that jazz if you want to do. And yeah, that's it from me, and I will see you all in the next video.